When it comes to defensive strategies, there's a lot to talk about, too much even, especially if we break down each type of defender one by one. But for now, let's focus on defensive midfielders, commonly referred to as DMFs, or sometimes nicknamed the water carriers of the team. Acting as the first line of defense before the backline and the goalkeeper, DMFs are expected to defend just like center backs. It's no surprise that many DMFs have similar physical attributes, defensive abilities, and even play styles to defenders. But before you choose a DMF for your team, let me ask you, do you actually know what the main role of a defensive midfielder is? Well, the core responsibility of a DMF is simple: to break up the opponent's attacks. That's it. If a DMF can consistently do this, it means they've done their job well. But of course, it's not that simple, especially since this role usually applies to DMFs positioned in the center. Many would argue that the best DMFs are those with the anchorman or anchor playstyle. I agree, but only to a certain extent. If you're using a single pivot system, meaning you only have one DMF, then the anchorman is your best choice. Why? Because anchormen are the most stable DMFs in terms of positioning, and they usually have the best defensive stats. I personally like to think of them as false center backs, because of how well they cover the central defense. Now what about destroyers? They're great defenders too, known for their high aggression, but their positioning tends to be a little off, and that can create space for the opposition to exploit. So if you're using a double pivot, 2 DMFs, what's the best combo? Forget about just the playstyles for a moment. I prefer dividing DMFs into 2 functional types. 1. Ball winning, focused on recovering possession. 2. Ball playing, focused on distributing the ball and starting attacks. Based on this, the best double pivot is a combination of an anchorman and an orchestrator. This combo gives you a balanced approach, solid both defensively and offensively. Of course, no one's stopping you from pairing an anchorman with a destroyer, especially if your team's priority is to defend a lead late in the game. Tips for choosing the right anchorman DMF. Look for someone with defensive stats close to a center back, ideally full blue bars. Aerial ability and heading are nice to have, but not essential. Usually these players have decent close control and passing ability, though they're not the fastest. But don't worry, they make up for it with excellent positioning. Key skills to look for are man marking, interception, blocker, and slide tackle. I personally prefer anchormen who can also slot in as a CB when needed. So, who do you trust to be the first line of defense in your squad? Drop your picks in the comments below.